I want to tell you exactly what I had before everything fell apart. Not in general terms, specifically, because vague claims of preparation are not useful to you, and I have had a long time to think about what would actually be useful. I had supplies for 3 months. Food, water, medicine, tools, properly stored, properly rotated, properly documented. Not a random pile of cans in a basement, a real system. I had a group of 6 people, people I knew, people I trusted, people who had agreed in advance on how decisions would get made and what the rules were. And I had read the research. I want to be honest about what that looked like, because "I did my research" is one of those phrases that can mean anything from "I watched 3 YouTube videos" to something more serious. In my case, it was the latter. I had read the actual studies. I knew what the data said about how groups fall apart under pressure. I knew the specific patterns, how people stop following agreements when they are scared, how trust breaks down once someone feels like the rules don't apply equally, how the person making the most noise usually isn't the one making the best decisions. I knew all of it. I had even built systems to deal with it. Clear rules about supplies, agreed on before anyone was hungry. Shared decision-making, so the group didn't live or die on one person's judgment. A plan for what to do if someone broke the rules, so we didn't have to figure it out in the moment. I was, by any reasonable measure, more prepared than almost anyone. Which brings us to where I am now. I am not telling you this to be discouraging. I am telling you this because the gap between having the right information and actually using it when everything is going wrong is the entire subject of this channel. And I am, as it turns out, a very good example of that gap. Let me give you a specific example of how it went wrong. Because "things fell apart" is not useful. Specifics are useful. 4 days in, one person in our group took more than their share of the supplies. Not a lot more. Not enough that anyone was going to go hungry because of it. A small thing by any normal measure. I knew what that meant. I had literally read about this exact moment. When someone breaks the rules once, especially early, especially over something small, it sends a message to everyone else, whether they realize it or not. The message is, the rules are not real. The message is, when it matters, people will look out for themselves. The message is, maybe I should too. The right move, according to everything I had read, was to address it immediately. Not harshly, just clearly, in front of everyone, so the group knew the rules still meant something. I said nothing. I told myself it was a small thing. I told myself it wasn't worth the awkwardness. I told myself we'd deal with it if something bigger came up. That last thought, "we'll deal with it when something bigger happens," is one of the most dangerous things a person can tell themselves, because by the time something bigger happens, the foundation is already cracked. You are not dealing with the new problem. You are dealing with the new problem plus everything you let slide before it. The group was in serious trouble within 3 weeks, not because of any single dramatic event, because of 100 small moments exactly like that one, where someone knew the right call and made the comfortable one instead. The research has a name for what I did. It is called normalizing a problem, which is a fancy way of saying you convinced yourself that a warning sign was not a warning sign. Your brain is very good at this, embarrassingly good actually. It does it without asking your permission, and it does it faster than you can catch it. The useful thing about knowing that is that you can learn to look for it. The even more useful thing is that other people can see it in you before you can see it in yourself, which is one of the reasons going it alone is such a bad idea. But that is a whole other episode. So, here is what this channel is going to cover, and I will give you the honest version rather than the polished one. There are a few big questions that survival content almost never answers well. The first one is, when something goes wrong, why do people so consistently do the wrong thing? Not because they are stupid, not because they didn't care. People who are smart, prepared, and genuinely trying to make good decisions still get it wrong at a rate that should make all of us uncomfortable. There is a reason for that, and it lives in how the brain works under pressure. We are going to go into that in detail. For example, there is an episode coming up about fear, specifically about the fact that when you are scared, your body does one of 4 things, and one of those 4 things sounds completely reasonable in the moment, and is, according to the research, the one most likely to get you killed in a real collapse situation. Not because it's dramatic, because it's quiet. We are going to talk about what it is and how you spot it in yourself before it makes the decision for you. The second big question is, has this happened before? The answer is yes, constantly. History is full of collapses, cities under siege, societies under stress, communities that held together and communities that didn't. And the patterns are close enough to identical that it is genuinely strange how rarely anyone talks about them in a survival context. There is an episode coming about a medieval military siege from the year 1098 that I am unreasonably excited about. It has nothing to do with medieval history and everything to do with the fact that a group of people in the 11th century made the exact same series of mistakes in the exact same order that groups make today. The setting is different, the psychology is the same. It is, depending on your definition of the word, either very reassuring or very depressing. The third big question is, what is the survival advice that sounds right but isn't? There is a lot of it. Some of it is harmless, some of it will genuinely get you killed. The gear obsession is part of this, not because gear doesn't matter, but because the research is very clear that the thing most likely to determine whether you survive is not what you have, but what you do under stress. And what you do under stress is almost entirely a function of psychology, not equipment. There is also a whole category of advice that I would describe as technically true, but useless. Stay calm is a good example. Yes, great. How? The brain does not respond to instructions. It responds to specific techniques that interrupt specific processes. Stay calm is the equivalent of telling someone with a broken leg to walk it off. Directionally correct, not actually helpful. We are going to talk about what is actually helpful. One more thing, and then I'll let you go. I know that some of you are skeptical about taking survival advice from someone who did not technically survive. That is a fair position. My answer is this: everything I cover is backed by research you can look up yourself. I will always tell you where the information comes from. The reason I am the one presenting it rather than someone who came out the other side is that I have a perspective on it that most researchers don't. I was inside the outcome, not outside it looking in. Whether that is an advantage or just a depressing irony is, I think, something you can decide for yourself after a few episodes. New episodes on the psychology, history, and real-world science of survival. Without the gear obsession, without the fantasy, and without the version where being prepared means you're going to be fine. Being prepared helps. It is not the whole answer. The whole answer is messier and more interesting, and that is what we are here for. Subscribe if you'd rather not repeat my mistakes. There are quite a few of them, so you will have plenty to work with. Know what kills you before it does.